Alright, whether you call it Christian genocide or terrorist attack, let's hear from Dr. Pastor Abel Damina what he had to say concerning this ongoing Christian genocide in Nigeria and who in particular are the people committing these heinous crimes and what are the reasons why they are doing what they are doing. Let's hear from him based on his experience.
Let me speak as a victim. I am not just a student of research, but I'm speaking as a victim of these gruesome circumstances around the Nigerian people, where innocent lives have been taken away by some people who think they have more right than others in this nation. And some people have reduced it to herders and farmers clash. No, sir, this has been ongoing. I grew up in northern Nigeria. My father was a pastor with the Assemblies of God Church. One morning we just woke up in Assemblies of God Church, Samaru Zaria, somewhere adjacent the north gate of Samaru Zaria. My father was a pastor. All of a sudden we woke up in the morning, no provocation, nothing. And the next thing we were hearing was people were just running all over our house and the church with machetes and all of that. The next thing was they started pouring petrol all over the building, both the church and the house, because our house was attached to the church. And the next thing was flames. Everything was burnt right down to ashes. We narrowly escaped, found a place where we could shelter ourselves in the military barracks. Eventually, they brought us back to the lecturers' quarters of Abel area, and we had to camp with a family for weeks and months before we could rebuild and start life all over again. That is long. I'm talking about 1986, 87. What about the Metasine situation? Metasine was a sect of the Islamic religion who went around burning and destroying and killing Christians back in the 80s. This is far before there was anything like farmers and herders clash. Then fast forward. What about in the year 2000, where over 2,000 people were killed in Kaduna? Year 2000. What about the over 300 people that were victims of the Miss World in November 2002? All of them, they were not a part of the Miss World. They were just on their own. Something happened somewhere else and they became victims of it. Lives were killed, houses were destroyed, and whenever they are carrying out this charade, they will be shouting Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, and they will carry their matches and carry whatever they have, and they will move in their numbers. And everybody on their way that is not chanting what they are chanting becomes a victim. I can go on and on. A few years ago, I was preaching in Kaduna for a great man of God. And I only succeeded in preaching Sunday morning service. After the service, the next morning, as we were preparing for the next service on Monday, the next thing I was hearing was the whole city is on fire. Kaduna is on fire. Please stay in the hotel room, don't come out. They are killing, they are burning churches, they are killing everybody. That is how we were stuck in a hotel. Even in the hotel, we were not sure of ourselves, because they were going from hotel to hotel, room to room, killing people that were not chanting Allahu Akbar. And somehow God saved our souls. After about 4 days, we were able to leave Kaduna. But unfortunately, a friend of mine who was a pastor, Reverend Northcote Andrew of blessed memory, was caught in the midst of this as he was escaping for his life. They caught him because he was wearing a collar of a bishop. They hacked him to death, dug the ground, buried him and put a cross there. It is that little wooden cross that made people know that there was a corpse in that place. And this, my friend, was buried. These are real life situations. So for somebody to just sit down in the comfort of his home, maybe somewhere in the south, and be saying there's no such thing in northern Nigeria, my brother, you've not been a part of it. We've been right in the heart of the fire. I remembered one night, these Muslim boys were all over the place in my school, and they were shouting Allahu Akbar. They were looking for me. I had to escape. That night, my saving grace was that I found a female hostel and I slept under the bed. By the next day, I left town. For what? I did nothing. No provocation. Just because I am preaching the gospel. And of course, some of them believe that once you are not of the Islamic faith, you are an infidel. And they believe that if you kill an infidel, you will sleep with 7 virgins. All of this kind of indoctrination that leads to violence at the slightest provocation, whether it has to do with the people or not, you just get on the streets. What about the Reinhard Bonnke crusade? I'm talking about the Reinhard Bonnke crusade in Kano, where people were hacked, macheted, and killed just because a crusade where the gospel of Christ was going to be preached. And that is why I thank God for people like President Donald Trump, who lent his voice to what is going on here. At least, for whatever is what, there's an ongoing conversation all over the world. The matter is no more put under the carpet. And we don't want just conversations. We want some action. And in the midst of all this, it snowballed into the herders and farmers clash. It snowballed into banditry, and everything becomes very complicated. And people are dying by the day. There are people in northern Nigeria, places like Borno State, places like Plateau State, places like Benue State, places like southern Kaduna, where whole villages have been taken over by some of these bandits, by some of these Islamic extremists, by some of these Boko Haram people. They've taken over whole villages, driven the villagers away. And somebody said there is no such thing in Nigeria. Why do we have IDP camps? Why do we have IDP camps when we never had an earthquake? We never had an earth tremor. Why do we have IDP camps?
As Dr. Pastor Abel Damina have explained. Now, all of us are talking about bandits and terrorist attack in Nigeria, all over the world. If you and I are complaining or saying that we need peace in this world, that we need to love one another, tackle insecurity and these terrorist attacks without knowing the source of the problem, we are going nowhere. You cannot fight against a problem without first of all fighting against the cause of the problem. We talk about bandits, we talk about terrorist attack, all the rest of it. What is the source? Islam is the problem. Islam is the problem we are facing in this world. The major problem we are facing here. Insecurity, fighting, bloodshed, everything. The source is Islam. Majority of us are claiming that we are peaceful people, that we want peace for the world, yet we are holding so tight the very problem that is causing unrest and violence in the world and still call it the word of peace, Islam. Islam is against Christianity. Islam is against other religions. Islam is against non-Muslim or against any idea contrary to that of Islam. Islam is against the world. Islam is the very problem the world is facing. When will you open your eyes? The only people supporting these atrocities committed by these Muslim jihadists are Muslims. People will label it terrorist attack or bandits attack. I don't call it bandits or terrorist attack. This is Islamic jihadist attack. When we say bandits, terrorists, it looks as if a fruit is falling far away from the tree. You can't shift the blame from Islam. Quran says, fight all those who don't believe in Allah or in Judgment Day or accept Muhammad as a prophet and accept the religion of Islam. What these Muslim jihadists are practicing is precisely what is written in their books. They are commanded to fight. They are commanded to terrorize them. So what they are practicing is precisely what is written in their books. They are commanded not to see non-Muslims as friends, but to terrorize them. What they are practicing in the name of jihad, unaliving people, is what Quran and Hadith tells them to do. Don't tell me there is a peaceful Muslim. A peaceful Muslim is one who have not had a chance to do what others are doing. That peaceful Muslim is not a true Muslim. A true Muslim is the one that follows what the religious book says. And Quran is not a peaceful book. How can you tell me that a religion that commands its followers to fight against others, to fight against people until they all become Muslims, is from God? How can you tell me that? That a religion that commands its followers to unalive others, that they will go into a village and wipe away a whole village in the name of Allah, that this is from God. And while they are doing what they are doing, they are mentioning the name of Allah, Al-Akbar, Al-Akbar. Right? Everything they are doing, they unalive people in the name of Allah. Are they serving God? Tell me, what kind of religion, what true religion from God will come with guns and knives? Are you saying that this is religion? This is bloody cause. They will tell you Islam is peace. Where is the peace? Peace in words or peace in action? Action speaks louder than voice. Islam is, where is the peace? If it is peace, let the world themselves confirm that this is peace. Let the world, non-Muslims, be the one to say Islam is peace, not Islam itself. You don't glorify yourself in wrongdoing. You don't justify your wrong and call yourself peace. No, you know that you are violent. It is, if Islam is peace, it is non-Muslims that will say this is peace, based on what they have seen, based on their own observation, not you. Calling yourself peace when you are having knife and gun with you. It is wickedness. And some of them will tell you there are peaceful Muslims. Where are the peaceful Muslims? Where are their voices? Have you ever seen those people you call peaceful Muslim coming out to condemn the action of these violent ones? No, they will not condemn it because all of them are together. They will not condemn it because they are together. So why do you call them peaceful? That is because they have not had the chance to do like them. If they have the chance, they will do more. That is why they don't condemn it. They think it's the right way. Then tell me, where is the peace? And where are the peaceful Muslims? A Christian who don't condemn evil done by other Christians is accomplished. A Muslim who don't condemn the actions of this radical Muslim jihadist is also accomplished.